think it's really sexy to be able to feel safe when you're having sex.
Yeah.
Completely.
And like emotionally safe, physically safe, medically safe in terms of infections. So I think it is really important to open those conversations with your partner.
A few basic concerns dealt with before you enter into any sort of sexual behaviour can save a lot of grief afterwards. And, you know, a relationship is about having emotional safety as well as physical safety.
It's, that peace of mind of going, now I can actually be present with this person and enjoy this.
And you're not already working out, there could be bad repercussions of what we haven't covered before we've got intimate together. So, you know, an unplanned pregnancy and avoidance of an STI is a very good way to start.
And I also want to acknowledge that for a lot of people, this is the space that gets talked at the most and can be really fear-mongery space.
Yeah.
But I think, chlamydia, gonorrhea, things like herpes.
Big one.
Yeah, either viral or bacterial. And a bacterial STI will respond to antibiotics. So reasonably straightforward. Not something anyone wants, but it's not something that's going to be with you in the long term. A viral STI is a little herpes, HIV, somewhat more of a long-term prospect, but still not something that is a deal breaker.
No.
You know, it can be managed and it can be talked about and it can be understood and it can exist within a healthy relationship. It doesn't mean the relationship ends because one or the other in the relationship have acquired an STI that may not be able to be cured but can certainly be controlled.
You know, I was in a relationship with someone where we had, we were just starting to, start a sexual relationship, and they had, in that process, before we had been sexual, they had been told by a partner that they had an STI. And, it was that kind of thing where they were like, I really want to be with you and I'd really like us to, do this thing we were talking about, but I'm on a course of antibiotics and it's going to be a week. And I was like, amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Like, great. Now, one, I know that I'm not being rejected just because you're trying to wait the 7 days to go through your antibiotics. But actually, you've opened this up. I feel respected. I feel heard. And I'm like, amazing. Now I feel like I'm part of this with you in this relationship of we're both doing this thing where I'm going to wait. We're going to have the 7 days. We'll check in on your antibiotics. And then we're both able to make these decisions to be physical together.
Now, maybe, Annie, it's worth talking about the pathways of getting tested for people of different genders.
If you've had a risk, regularly, then you regularly must go and get a checkup. And certainly, as Lauren says before, a new relationship or a new partner has got to a physical point, or genitals and have got together, particularly. But
Party.
that we were talking before about places to go, and there's many STI and sexual health clinics around, and most of them are free, Medicare covered. But also a great resource is a really good local doctor. And you can go to your own family doctor, but if you are a person who doesn't want to share your family doctor with the rest of your family, there's nothing to stop anyone, regardless of age, of finding themselves a medical person that they can trust and like. And if you ever felt that you'd been judged or got some attitude, because medical people are humans, and certainly I've met many who've got attitudes that I don't share. Shop around. You don't have to stick with your own medical person just because your mother's gone to him or her all her life. So I think they can be an incredible ally, just to get a really good GP who can explain things.
And something I think is really important that you said before to flag is the fact that it doesn't have to be when you're 18. You can get them before that, and you don't necessarily need to go with a parent or someone if you're under the age of 18. And so that idea of, if you are a young person having sex and wanting to get tested, there are safe spaces for you to do that, particularly if that isn't a conversation you can have with the people you live with.
And if you do discover that you have an STI, which again should not be riddled with shame, there are ways, if you have discovered that you have an STI, that you can show incredible initiative and respect by reaching out to people that you've slept with without pointing fingers, without even having the finger pointed at yourself. And if you are an avoidant person, also like myself, there are actually anonymous texting services now where you can punch in the numbers and they just get a little buzz saying, just a little heads up, you might want to get checked because someone you've Judy with is Judy. And
Yeah.
like it's there's so many ways to like make the discourse surrounding STIs ethical and easy.
Yeah, you can also, if your doctor is just giving you the, hey, you've got chlamydia, there's also spaces where you can talk to your doctor, and your doctor can contact your
Yes.
sexual partners to say, hey, just so you know, you should probably come and get tested because someone, as you said, been sexually with has tested positive, you know.
And, an STI, an unplanned pregnancy, all of these things, they're not necessarily what you're planning for, but they can all be managed.
And I think all of the stuff we've talked about is so much this idea of, for some people, sex can be so scary. This idea, I don't want to get it wrong, I don't want to put a foot out of place, I don't want to get an STI, I don't want to do something non-consensually or get pregnant and all this sort of stuff, when if we're having those amazing foundations of communication and conversation and really trying to really think about not just you, but whoever you're with, you're always going to end up in spaces where you can do the work and get through the stuff.